Numbers 20. We're back to the basics in this chapter. The people are complaining about a lack of food and water. Someone's going to take control of a rock, which is going to turn out to be very consequential. God's going to punish people for not giving him credit, and some of them will die. Like people who matter, not just a red heifer that no one seems to care about. In the first month, the whole Israelite community arrived at the desert of Zin, and they stayed at Kadesh. There, Miriam died and was buried. Now there was no water for the community, and the people gathered in opposition to Moses and Aaron. They quarreled with Moses and said, "If only we had died when our brothers fell dead before the Lord. Why did you bring the Lord's community into this wilderness, that we and our livestock should die here? Why did you bring us up out of Egypt to this terrible place? It has no grains or figs, grapevines or pomegranates, and there is no water to drink." I see we're not spending any time mourning Miriam. Her life gets boiled down to she died and they buried her. Now let's move on to what really matters. Food. Worst obituary ever. She died and we buried her. That is all you need to know. When are the visitation times and funeral services? Shut up and feed me. Think about everything she went through, too. She was racist once. She got a skin disease. She was banished from their camp for a week. Her life was just one disaster after another. And now she's dead. The Bible is so bad with female characters. Anyway, it's been about 40 years since the Israelites started wandering. A bunch of people have died. God used an earthquake and fire to eliminate thousands of them. And Moses still hasn't been able to provide his people the basics like food and water. Tons of rules about how to slaughter animals for purification rituals, but nothing about how to acquire liquid that's not blood. If all of this sounds familiar, it's because we did this before, in Exodus 17 when they began wandering. Back then, Moses feared an uprising. He worried they were going to stone him for being so bad at the job he was chosen to do. But after they didn't punish him at all, he just kept being an incompetent leader for decades, and everyone just followed him. Which also tells you everything you need to know about the Republican Party. Moses and Aaron went from the assembly to the entrance to the tent of meeting and fell face down, and the glory of the Lord appeared to them. The Lord said to Moses, "Take the staff, and you and your brother Aaron gather the assembly together. Speak to that rock before their eyes, and it will pour out its water. You will bring water out of the rock for the community so they and their livestock can drink." I'm sure this will work because it's fiction, but imagine if it didn't. Moses and Aaron would be bringing a rock to the angry masses and talking to it and saying, "Don't worry, you guys, we'll squeeze water out of the stone." Sure, we could look for a river or fruit, but we decided to go with the thing that has never been known for its liquidy goodness, because we're smart. Hey, at least if it failed, the people could use that rock to stone him. Here's what's messed up. If you're watching this right now, you probably didn't pay that much attention to what I just read. But you're going to want to back up and listen to it again, because that passage turns out to be enormously consequential. Like, it is setting the stage for the next several chapters, at least. It doesn't seem that important, I know, but it will be. I promise you. Here's a little discrepancy you might find interesting. God tells Moses to speak to the rock to get the water. But in Exodus 17, God told Moses to smite the rock. Are those different things? Are we still mad at the rock, or are we gently speaking to it now? It's just one of those weird changes that gets no explanation. So Moses took the staff from the Lord's presence just as he commanded him. He and Aaron gathered the assembly together in front of the rock, and Moses said to them, "Listen, you rebels, must we bring you water out of this rock?" Then Moses raised his arm and struck the rock twice with his staff. Water gushed out, and the community and their livestock drank. Moses is such a dick. Listen, you idiots, do you need me to do everything for you just because I'm the one with the direct line to God and we're all in a desert and there's nothing else in the world going on right now? But yay, the rock began oozing water. Problem solved. Except no, problem very much not solved. Problem just beginning. Because Moses said, "Must we bring you water out of this rock?" As if it's him and Aaron making it happen, not God. And God loves taking credit for everything. So this will not end well. Or, some people have said that he showed a lack of faith by striking the rock twice, as if he didn't have faith that once would be enough. Or because he struck it at all instead of just speaking to it. Whatever the case, he did not follow the exact thing God demanded. So God's furious, again, at Moses, who's been the most patient dude in the world for putting up with God's emotional breakdowns. But the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Because you did not trust in me enough to honor me as holy in the sight of the Israelites, you will not bring this community into the land I give them." These were the waters of Meribah, where the Israelites quarreled with the Lord and where he was proved holy among them. So now God's going back on his word. After 40 years, God is saying they don't get the land after all. I don't care about the reason. This just confirms that no one should have trusted God in the first place. I'm a little surprised that the 500 previous miracles didn't convince these people that God had power, but water from a rock suddenly does the trick. Moses sent messengers from Kadesh to the king of Edom, saying, "This is what your brother Israel says. You know about all the hardships that have come on us. Our ancestors went down into Egypt, and we lived there many years. The Egyptians mistreated us and our ancestors. But when we cried out to the Lord, he heard our cry and sent an angel and brought us out of Egypt. Now we are here at Kadesh, a town on the edge of your territory. Please let us pass through your country. We will not go through any field or vineyard or drink water from any well. We will travel along the king's highway and not turn to the right or to the left until we have passed through your territory." Moses sounds like my dad on a road trip. We're going straight through, no stopping anywhere. But then, like 2 minutes later, someone has to go to the bathroom and it turns into an hour-long detour. Which is to say, even if the king of Edom allows this, you just know it won't go as planned. If you want a quick Bible history lesson though, remember that Jacob gave rise to the Israelites and his brother Esau gave rise to the Edomites. So when Moses refers to your brother Israel, that's not just a figure of speech. But this should be simple, right? The king will say yes and the journey will continue. But Edom answered, "You may not pass through here. If you try, we will march out and attack you with the sword." The Israelites replied, "We will go along the main road, and if we or our livestock drink any of your water, we will pay for it. We only want to pass through on foot, nothing else." Oh, damn. The king of Edom won't let the Israelites use the highway. Moses just offered this elaborate request, citing his ancestors and their shared history, and the king of Edom is like, "Nope, I kill you." Again, they answered, "You may not pass through." Then Edom came out against them with a large and powerful army. Since Edom refused to let them go through their territory, Israel turned away from them. God is presumably on the side of the Israelites, so the size of the Edomite army shouldn't matter. But God's still angry about the rock water debacle, so no one gets to walk through the territory. The whole Israelite community set out from Kadesh and came to Mount Hor. At Mount Hor, near the border of Edom, the Lord said to Moses and Aaron, "Aaron will be gathered to his people. He will not enter the land I give the Israelites, because both of you rebelled against my command at the waters of Meribah. Get Aaron and his son Eleazar and take them up Mount Hor. Remove Aaron's garments and put them on his son Eleazar, for Aaron will be gathered to his people. He will die there." Aaron's about to get the death penalty because Moses once said they would bring water out of the rock. Looks like Moses won that bit of sibling rivalry. How come Moses isn't being punished here? He's the bigger problem. Answer: oh, he will be. The punishment for Moses is coming very soon. Anyway, Aaron's not just dying. He's gonna die naked after giving his clothes to his son. I suppose that's a symbolic move, but also God's murdering someone because he didn't get the credit he wanted, which is seriously as petty as it gets. Moses did as the Lord commanded. They went up Mount Hor in the sight of the whole community. Moses removed Aaron's garments and put them on his son Eleazar, and Aaron died there on top of the mountain. Then Moses and Eleazar came down from the mountain, and when the whole community learned that Aaron had died, all the Israelites mourned for him 30 days. How did Aaron die? We've gone through so many graphic depictions of slaughter that it's very anticlimactic to just say Aaron died. Was it a violent death? Did God do it? Did Aaron freeze without clothes at the top of a mountain? And when everyone learned he died, were they also told God was involved, or was that just left out of the obituary? I guess it's kind of poetic that this section opened with the bland, boring mention of Miriam's death, and now closes with the bland, boring mention of Aaron's death, but none of it explains who killed them or why. Stay tuned to the next season of your favorite true crime podcast for those stories and more. So here's where we're at. God's still murdering people for not being fully obedient to him, and the Israelites can't go through the city of Edom because the king will murder them if they try. It's just death and destruction everywhere. The good book is nothing if not optimistic.